So in this class, we are needing our backup of the size of the person you need, your fabric, your pattern, paper, and most importantly, your paper tip. So what we're going to do now is folding our backup into two. Then on the center part of from the down, we are going to mark in like as if we are trying to do a dart, just as you can see in the video. Then we are going to sew it like that, just as it looks. Then after sewing this, you will notice that your cup came up properly, like it's now well cupped. It's now well cupped. So after this, the next thing we are going to do is to take our paper tape. Then we are going to use the paper tape to cover every part of this our cup, just as I'm doing here. Keep covering it until we are totally done covering the cup. Take your time while doing it. Make sure you are doing it accordingly. There's nowhere you missed while doing this. And when you are done, it will look like this. Then you can trim the edge of the cup where there is excessive tip, which is your paper tip. And this is how it looks like. Now after this, you are going to mark your line for your fabric. Now at first I wanted to work with a 2.5 inches coming from the top of your cup. I'm marking it round. Then when you come to the center of where this line started, you are going to go down to the place where you did your darts. Then later on, I came up by 1/2 inch at both sides, making these both sides now to be 2 inches at the end of the day. As you can see, I didn't touch the center. The center is still 2.5, but the size is 2 inches. I did that so that it can give me the fitting I want. Then after that, I removed my paper tape from my bra cup and I am going to now divide it. And then put it on my pattern paper, just as you can see. And I'm numbering it so that I don't miss the placement later. Make sure you give them spaces so that you can add some allowance. I feel like this spacing is not good enough, so I'm trying to adjust it so that I can be able to add my allowance on all sides. So the allowance I'm adding to the down of this is 1/2 inch. Then the sides I'm going to be adding a 1/4 inch. That's a 1/2 of a 1/2. That's a 1/4 inch, 1/4. Yeah, that is what I'm adding at the sides of this. And after doing it here, I'm going to do the same thing on the other parts of this same that's the number 3 parts. I'm going to do the same thing. So after this, after marking it, make sure you're marking it correctly. Make sure your markings are correctly, no mistakes. After that, we move over to the top part. and mark just like that also. Now after this, I'm going to now cut. So we are going to cut it out, each part representing. Make sure you are cutting exactly and keep them on side. Now after the cutting, I'm going to take them and place on the fabric. Make sure you pin them properly, pin every side before you go into cutting them. Now I'm done pinning and I'm going to cut. I'm cutting it out. Make sure you are cutting according to your pattern. Now we are done cutting and it's time to sew them together. Yeah, so we are going to first take out our pins. Then we'll start with the down part of this patterns. We'll sew it together. Make sure you pin. Your pinning will help you secure your fabrics together so that there won't be an error while sewing. Yeah, so after this we'll sew. Now we are done sewing that side of the pattern and this is what it looks like. The next thing is to iron it out so that your clothes won't be shrinking, or I don't know how to explain it, but just give it a neat press, a very neat press, and you are good to go. Now just like we did this down parts, we are going to also do the upper part of this together. Use our pin to secure the boots together before we move over to sewing them. So now we are done securing it. We just need only one pin and we are done with that. So after this, the next thing I just want to do is to bring our cup and place it on it to see the outcome first. Remember there's still pin, so it's not going to be relaxed that much. And then we are going to go and sew. So yeah, now we are done sewing and we are going to take out our pins, remove every excessive threads, and then bring our cup and then take our tape, mark back that 2-inch line. Don't know if you remember, we marked 2-inch for the upper part, so I want this sewing to be placed on that line, just as you can see what I'm doing. And then after this I'm going to try to take my scissors and notch those sewing parts so that it can lay properly. I want it to lay. If you want your sewing to lay properly, you have to notch. So we are done and we've ironed this out, and we are going to place it now on our cup. And then remember that line, as you can see, we're now going to use our pin to secure our clothes pattern to the cup. Secure it properly round. Just make sure it's going round. As you are doing it, make sure it's going round. So the place